Hi everyone, and welcome to another speed renovation. So today we're going to be renovating Domus Familiaris, and just in case you missed the video where I talked about it, I'm renovating some of the homes around Brindleton Bay for my Cats and Dogs Let's Play because in that series I have some side sims who are part of the Let's Play, but not sims that we actually play with, like they're just friends and family of the main sims and that sort of thing. And I placed them in houses around Brindleton Bay, and I just really wanted to go through and renovate some of them and make them a little bit more personalized for the Sims, just because to me that makes it a little bit more fun when you're actually visiting the Sims, and you know, it's more fun to visit them in homes that are personalized rather than what I originally did, which was just lazily slapping a few items into the homes to make it feel a little bit more personalized. But this house belongs to the Carr family, and the parents of this family are vet clinic owners, so they own the Brindleton Hospital, and I tried to reflect that when I was furnishing this house. So as you'll see, once we get to the office, I turned that into an area that I imagined as where they would work on coming up with new remedies and that sort of thing. So I added that thing that they could use to come up with the remedies, and I also put in the refrigerator that they could use to store those in, and that was really about all I could fit in there. And then their daughter Allison is the girlfriend of one of the Sims in the Let's Play, Piper, and Piper's also very close to Allison's parents, so she comes over here and frequently visits them, and she also wants to become a vet like them, so they're kind of like the inspiration for her wanting to become a vet. So I've also had her help them out at the vet clinic a few times in the Let's Play. Although I haven't been over here for a while in the series, but now that we've renovated this house, I'm going to be visiting here in the next part. So we'll be spending a good bit of time in the next part here at this house, which I'm pretty excited for. And the house itself actually wasn't that bad. Like, it was a pretty good house from the beginning. There's just some things about it that I didn't really like how low the windows were originally. Like, it just, I don't know, it didn't look right how low they were to begin with. And I also changed the roof to more of an orange kind of a color. I felt like that popped a little bit more than just a plain black roof that we had originally. And I was going to lighten the siding or keep it at this light blue that we have here, but I ended up just changing it back to the same blue that was originally because I felt like that looked a little bit better than this. Like, it just kind of had a little bit more contrast going on with it at that color scheme. And other than that, there were just a few minor adjustments that I made to the house itself, and then I completely redid the landscape because I wasn't really super fond of the landscaping that was there to begin with. But on another note, I hope you all had a lovely holiday season and New Year's and Christmas and all of that. I know I'm a little bit late in saying this, but I haven't made a whole lot of videos so far this year, or actually since Christmas, and that's just because I took a little bit of a break around Christmas to spend some time with family. And then as soon as I got back from that, I got sick, and I'm still just getting over that, so my voice sounds a little bit off. It's because I'm still a little bit sick, although I think it's mostly better. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I ended up with the flu, and I just couldn't upload for over a week because I was coughing constantly, and my voice was also super shot to the point where there was a few days where I could only whisper. And I'm sure no one wants videos where I'm just croaking and hardly able to talk and coughing all the time, so I of course just had to wait till it passed to be able to make videos again. But yeah, I'm finally feeling a lot better, so hopefully I can get back on track and upload a little bit more regularly. But yeah, it was pretty bad because there would be some points where I'd be trying to talk and then my voice would just completely decide to cut out. Like, I'd be in the middle of saying something and then my vocal cords would just be like, nope, we're not going to produce that sound. So nothing would just come out. So super frustrating when I was at work last week trying to talk to coworkers. Like, you know, the first day I was back, people were like, oh, how was your holiday break? And I would just be like, it was good. And then they just kind of do a double take and be like, wait, what did you say? And I would just have to try to explain that I was sick and all that. And then, of course, they'd be like, oh, okay, stay away from me then because I don't want whatever you got. It was kind of weird, though, because I've had my voice be affected by being sick before, but usually it's not to that extent. Like, this is definitely the worst that I've lost my voice, and even, you know, like almost 2 weeks after getting sick in the first place, it's still not 100% back to normal. But I mean, at this point, it's hardly noticeable. But yeah, other than that, my holiday break was good. Yeah, like I said in a couple speed builds before, I visited my fiance's family and spent Christmas with them, and yeah, it was fun. And I also did run that 5K that I was talking about because I was saying how I was worried about running it because I hadn't run a while, and then I injured my foot, and then I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to run it because of my foot. But yeah, the day of the race, my foot wasn't completely better, but it was good enough that I felt like it was fine, so I ended up doing it. And it actually wasn't that bad. Like, it was actually pretty fun. I mean, I wasn't super fast with it. Like, I think it took me almost 40 minutes to finish it, but that's because I didn't run all the way through just because it was a lot hillier than I was, a lot hillier of an area than I was used to running in. I also made this mistake of stopping to get water. And for me, whenever I run, like as soon as I stop to walk, it's really hard for me to actually continue running the rest of the way. Like it's a lot easier for me to just stop and walk after that. So yeah, I made the mistake of stopping about halfway through. And then after that, I would just kind of like run for a little bit and then walk for a little bit and then run for a little bit. But I don't think 40 minutes is too bad. Like I actually kind of want to run more now and like work on getting faster and maybe sign up for more 5Ks, because now that I did, that's actually really not that bad. And then other than that, we did a cooking competition, because like every year his family does this cooking competition where you draw random ingredients out of a hat. So usually you'll draw like 2 ingredients and then you have to try to make something with those 2 ingredients. And a lot of the times you end up getting stuff that just really doesn't go together. Then we also drew names like for who you were paired with for the cooking. And I actually ended up drawing my fiance's name, so that was cool that I got to cook with him for it. And the ingredients we got were espresso and shallots, which are not things that go together at all. Like basically how we came up with some of the ingredients was his sister just went through her pantry and was like, hey, I've got this thing I want to use up, let's just throw that in. Like she had some espresso powder that she didn't know what to do with, so they just put that as one of the ingredients. And that was the one thing, like when they were writing down the ingredients, that was the one thing I did not want to get, because I felt like everything else I could figure out something for. But espresso is kind of hard to figure out a dish to cook with, because it's not something you typically put in food. And I mean, it would be one thing if it was paired with something that I could have made a dessert with, but it was paired with shallots. So yeah, it was kind of tricky to figure out something to make using both shallots and espresso powder, but we ended up making a tilapia with an espresso rub, and it actually turned out pretty good, because it was a rub made of, it was the espresso powder, chipotle chili powder, brown sugar, I forget what else, I think it was like salt and pepper. I feel like there's something else in there, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, the rub itself actually tasted pretty good. Like it tasted kind of like the powder you get all over your hand if you eat barbecue chips. Like it feels like whatever they coat barbecue potato chips in. So yeah, we just put that into tilapia, and then to incorporate the shallots, we caramelized some shallots and Brussels sprouts together, and then used some of that same rub that we put on the fish to season that as well. And yeah, it actually turned out pretty good, and they scored all the dishes everyone made, and in the end we actually won, which I was really surprised by, because I figured getting shallots was kind of, made it very likely that we weren't going to win, and whatever we made, it was going to turn out kind of weird. But yeah, how they scored it was they had 3 categories. I think it was presentation, taste, and creativity, and we all just put like a score from 0 to 10 for each category for all the dishes other than our own, and at the end it was tallied up, and there were winners in the categories, and then there was an overall winner, so we won both taste and overall. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. I don't know if it was just beginner's luck because this was my first year doing it, but yeah, I was pretty proud of that. But other than that, there wasn't really anything terribly exciting, but yeah, it was a really nice trip, and it was just kind of nice to do something different for Christmas. And also, it was a lot different than with my family, because in my family there's no young children, but then he has 3 nieces and nephews who are pretty young, so on Christmas morning they were really excited to wake everyone up. So they were told that as soon as it was 6 a.m. they could wake everyone up, so they got up, I think they said they got up at like 5:45, and then they sat in their rooms for like 15 minutes, and as soon as it was 6 o'clock, they went running around the house, like waking everyone up and trying to get them to come upstairs so they could open their presents, because they're so excited about that. So yeah, that definitely made that a little bit more exciting, because I just haven't, spent Christmas with kids since I was a kid. So yeah, it was definitely a lot different than usual. And then after I came back, I spent a couple days with my family, and then once I got back to my house, that was when I got sick. So yeah, that's just why I haven't really been uploading a whole lot since Christmas. But anyway, we're on to the inside now, so we're of course working on the living room area, and I didn't end up changing the layout at all in this house, because I felt like it was fine how it was. And this house is also perfect for the family who lives here, because they only have 1 kid, and this house is a 2-bedroom house, so it just worked out really well for that. And I imagine that they're a little bit more put together, so I was trying to reflect that with the interior of this house. So they don't really have that eclectic of a style, so there's a lot of more neutral colors, especially here in the main area. So this isn't really that colorful of a house. And I also added a fireplace into the living room, although I didn't end up putting a chimney on the outside of the house, which Probably looks a little bit weird, but I just couldn't figure out a good way to stick a chimney on the front of the house, so I just decided not to because it's a sim, so you don't really actually need a chimney. But yeah, I like how this whole living area turned out. And then, other than this, we got some pet stuff off to the side, like the cat tree and all of that, because I know they have 2 dogs, and I think they have only 1 cat. Maybe they had 2 cats. I can't really remember, but they have at least 3 pets. I was just trying to add some stuff around the house for them, and I wanted to have a whole bunch of pet stuff because, they are vet clinic owners, so I feel like their pets would be super important to them, and they'd want to have lots of toys and stuff around the house for them, and they'd want to take really good care of them and all of that. And I really wish I could have fit an exam table in this house, but unfortunately that's something that takes up a good bit of space, so yeah, I couldn't really add that in. But they own a vet clinic that's down the street, so if their pets are sick, they could just take them right over to their vet clinic and take care of them there. So I don't think it's really necessary that they have an exam table here. Oh, I also forgot to mention that while I was sick, I did work on builds, because even though I couldn't talk, I still wanted to work on some YouTube related things. So in addition to this build, I also finished a seafood restaurant, so hopefully I'll get the video for that up soonish, because I've been saying ever since Cats and Dogs came out how much I wanted to build a seafood restaurant for the spot where that one bar was it the Salty Paw Saloon or something like that? Yeah, so I made a seafood restaurant to replace that, and I also need to work on another one of these renovations after that. I'm not sure if it'll be the build after that, but I think the next house that I renovate will probably be that one cottage. I forgot what the name of it was. I think it was like Bedlington Cottage or something like that. Oh wait, I think it was Bedlington Boathouse. Yeah, so that one's probably going to be the next one that I renovate. And then after that, there's just the larger homes that are in the Cavalier Cove part of the world. And in the last renovation that I did, I was talking about how I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually renovate those, since that's kind of like a huge undertaking, but several of you said that is something that you'd like to see. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. And I don't know, if I feel up to a time-consuming challenge, then I'll probably try renovating those. Yeah, because it might be, I don't know, they definitely do need a little bit of renovation because they were very sparsely furnished. So I don't know, it might be kind of fun to try to furnish those, although it's something that's definitely going to take a while to do. But right now we're working on the dining room, and for the dining room I decided to go with the red color on the walls, and this dining room turned out looking kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of weird, I guess. Like it's definitely not something I would personally want to have in my own house, like with the red walls, because to me that's just very dark, and I like interiors that are a little bit brighter in my personal life. So this doesn't really, it doesn't really look ideal. Like, I guess from a design standpoint, this probably isn't ideal furnishing, but I think that's fine, because sometimes things are furnished in a manner that isn't perfect, or isn't to a lot of people's liking, if that makes any sense. So I don't know, imagine that this was kind of just like a personal preference they had. Basically, the whole time I was furnishing this room, I was just thinking to myself, ugh, I wouldn't want to have red on the walls in a dining room. But that's what some people like, and I wanted to do something other than the more neutral color scheme that we had in the main area, so that's just why I did this. Although later on I did change the chairs to the coloring of that has the red flowers on it, so that helped a little bit, because he didn't have red chairs with a red wall. So yeah, that definitely made it look a little bit better. And when I did that, I also lined the wood on some of the other objects in the room, so that also helped a little bit. I added some more lights in to brighten things up, so in the end the dining room ends up looking a bit better than it does now, because I just wasn't really super happy with it at this point. But I didn't want to change the red. I kind of liked how it looked, so I wanted to work with the red on the walls and also keep that color of the curtains, because I like that as well. But renovating this house has also got me excited to potentially renovate a house of my own, because in the Christmas people that I did, I was talking about how we were going to be potentially buying a house this year, and we've officially begun the process of doing that. Like, we haven't actually looked at homes yet, but we've talked to a realtor, and I've gotten the okay from a mortgage lender to start looking for a house, because before the real estate agent starts showing you houses, they want to know that you're serious about buying a house, so they don't waste their time showing you a bunch of houses for it to just turn out that you aren't really able to buy one, or we're looking outside your price range and that kind of a thing. So we've gotten the okay to start looking at homes, so maybe this weekend we'll start looking at them. We're going to be starting to do that soon, which I'm really excited about. I'm also nervous about that, because it's a huge purchase to buy a house, but I also don't want to continue renting because I feel like that's just kind of throwing your money away because you're paying all this money each month and you're not really investing in anything. But if you buy a house, then it's yours and you're actually investing in something and you don't have to get an okay with your landlord to do stuff to the house. So if you want to like put holes in the walls to mount a TV or that kind of a thing, you don't have to deal with figuring out how to patch it when you move out. And you can also paint the walls whatever color you want. And if you don't like the appliances in the kitchen, you could save up money and replace them. So yeah, I'm just really excited to be able to buy a house and put my mark on it. Although I don't really want to get a super fixer-upper just because I don't want to deal with having something that I'm not happy with when I buy it and then having to live with however it looks until we actually renovate it. But at the same time, I know I'm not going to be able to get something with like granite counters and stainless steel appliances and wood floors everywhere and all of that. So I mean, I'm fine with something that's a little bit dated as long as it's not like really bad looking, because I'm going to have to live with like whatever we buy for a while. So, you know, I want to at least be somewhat happy with how it looks, and then as time goes on and we save up more money, we can put our own touches on it and update things a little bit more. So, I mean, I'm fine with something that was updated in like the 90s and that sort of a deal. That's kind of recent. I just don't really want a house that's like from the 50s with like floral wallpaper everywhere and that kind of thing, because I don't want to deal with ripping down wallpaper. Although I feel like when I've been looking at pictures of houses, I've been kind of like those people on House Hunters who you get frustrated with, who are just like, oh, I don't know about this house because the paint color or those floors or that, and you're just yelling at them. You can change that. The house is fine. Look past that. But I mean, I can understand being like that though, because buying a house is it's a big deal. It's kind of a stressful process. So I understand like you want to buy it and then just be kind of done with it for a little bit. Like you don't want to buy something and, you know, go through all the stress of making it happen only to have to change it to be happy with it. So, I mean, that's kind of how I felt at times, where I don't want something that I have to make so many changes to that I'm not really happy living with it until I made those changes. So I just want something, even if it's not perfect, that I'm happy with and, you know, feels nice and bright. You know, it doesn't, you know, I understand that I'm not going to be able to get the perfect updated house because this is our first house. So, you know, usually you can't buy something super crazy the first time, but yeah, I'm really, really excited for it. And I'm glad we've actually started the process and it's not just something we're talking about doing. So I have a feeling 2018 is going to be a big year. But getting back to the build, right now I'm working on the upstairs landing area. So up here I just have this chair with an ottoman in front of it. I imagine that they could sit in and look outside of that large window there. And I don't know if I actually include in the video or not, but at some point later on, I did brighten up the walls in this area and the living room area, so I made them a slightly lighter beige just because I really wanted everything in those areas to feel a little bit brighter. But yeah, other than that, there's not really a whole lot out here. We've just got this accent table here with a lamp, and I think I put a dog statue on or something like that. So just kind of like the standard space filler decorations that I do a lot. And apart from that, I put that one cabinet that came with cats and dogs up here that has like the towels and that kind of thing. Like I was going to stick a painting here, but I felt like that would be a little bit better to put here. Yeah, I really like those kinds of decorative items that they added in, like just the things that feel more homey, just like decorations that you would see around a house. But this room is the master bedroom. And with this one, I just really wanted to go with a light and bright color scheme. So we've got a lot of seafoam green colors in here, and I put the light gray on the walls, so it's just a very nice and bright room. And I didn't really put a whole lot in here because, like I said, I imagine them as being a little bit more put together, so I felt like they wouldn't really have a super cluttered bedroom. So I just kept the furnishing very, very simple and just kind of put the basic objects and not really a whole lot more in here. So it's definitely less cluttered than my furnishing typically is, but for this room, I just really like the clean and simple look. And the seafoam green also gives it a really nice, beachy, Cape Cod kind of a feel, which is just perfect for this house. The one chair from Parenthood also went really nicely with this room. Yeah, so we just got a few wall coverings in here, and then lastly, a little pet bed, because this was the only place in the house I managed to fit in that larger pet bed. I don't know, I always find it kind of hard to figure out somewhere to fit that pet bed in, just because I don't know. I really wish they added more options in for pet beds. Like, I feel like I've gone on this rant before, but that one's it's just like this rug that sits on the ground. It's not very interesting to look at, so I don't really like to use as much. So I just really wish they had a pet bed for larger dogs that was taller and just kind of like fluffier. Like, I'm trying to explain what I'm thinking of, but like, you know, like those pet beds where they've got kind of this brown suede on the outside, and then the inside is like this faux fur, like that kind of a pet bed. But anyway, we're on to Allison's room, and for her room, I wanted to go with more of a preppy kind of vibe, because I feel like a more preppy and cutesy kind of a room is really what suits her best. So yeah, I was just trying to make this room look very bright and preppy, and I'm actually really happy with how this room turned out. I think it's one of my favorite team rooms that I made, and I think it'll be more fun to visit here now that this house is actually personalized for this family, because originally this house and the bedrooms, I think they literally just had a bed and a nightstand, and that was it. So there was just hardly anything going on in the bedrooms. And I think before I started the Let's Play, I added a few things in, but it really wasn't much. Like, I think I put a desk in and that kind of a thing. So really, it just didn't really feel like a home. Like, I don't know, it just felt very sparse and bare, and not like somewhere a family actually lives in. So I just find it a lot more fun to visit homes in the Let's Play when they actually feel like they're really furnished for this family, and not like they just moved in and haven't gotten all their stuff unpacked and that kind of a deal. But yeah, we're almost done with this room, and I really like how that blue rug looks in there. Like, I think that definitely helped it to come together a lot more. And then after this, the only thing left to furnish in this house is the bathroom. So we'll be moving on to that shortly. I think this pet bed was about the last thing that I put in here. Yeah, so moving on to this. And it was kind of tricky to figure out how to lay out this bathroom, because it's just kind of a weird shape. Like, you got that long hallway going into it, but I didn't really want to change up the layout too much, so I just decided to work with what they had here. And I was trying to figure out how to fit in the toilet and the bathtub, because I mean, I was going to put in the toilet next to where the bathtub is, but then you just have a toilet right in front of a window that's rather large. It's also off of a deck, so I felt like that probably wouldn't really be that good, because someone could just be on the deck and easily look into the bathroom. So I ended up getting rid of the double sinks that we had and just making it one sink and then just having the toilet next to it, which ended up working out. And another thing I was thinking about doing was just having a shower and the toilet next to it, but since they have pets, I wanted to have a bathtub so they could wash them. But we are almost at the end of the building part of the video, so as usual, it'll be up for download, and there'll be a link to download in the description, and other stuff in there and how to find it in-game. And yeah, that's going to be all for me, so I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.